Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Connie Douglas from Great Stamping with Connie, and tonight you are joining me for Connie's Craft Along. So welcome. If you are coming on, say hello, let me know that you're here and what you're up to. If this is the first time you've done Connie's Craft Along, welcome. I hope you have fun with it. It's kind of like mystery stamping a little bit. I'll give you some clues. There was some supplies that hopefully you had a chance to gather, and hopefully you saw my comment on the picture that I had put up of the things to gather, because I put this together last night when I was getting a little tired, obviously, and I forgot a key ingredient, a piece of cardstock. So if you didn't see my comment, you will need one additional piece of cardstock that is 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. So if you want to grab some of that while we're just waiting for people to join us and things, that might be a good idea. Especially if you cut the other pieces. If you haven't cut the other pieces, you can cut them longer, and then you don't necessarily need that piece. And I have a card to show you, but it does sort of change everything. And the card that I had planned did have a piece of cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4. So I apologize. I forgot that in the original picture. And so anyway, hopefully you can grab some now. Okay, so I don't see anyone on here yet. Elizabeth, I'm not sure if you're able to watch tonight. Elizabeth and I tried to get her Facebook set up for her so that she could start to participate in these events. And so hopefully you're on here. Hopefully you're watching this, and maybe you're even going to craft along with us tonight. But anyway, I am going to flip this down so that we can get started on some crafting. Oh, there's Lorna. Hi, Lorna. Yes, happy Friday. It's Friday, except I have to work on Saturday. So my Friday's not till tomorrow, but that's okay. It's Friday. It's Connie's Craft Along, and that's a good thing. So, okay, just going to flip us down. There we go. We're down to the workspace, and hopefully you have gathered. Everything's all stuck together here. That's what happens when you put it on Post-it notes, right? A card base, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. That's just a standard card base. Some designer series paper that is 5 1/4 by 2. Some cardstock, whoops, that is 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. About 16 inches of ribbon, and if you can tie a bow without cutting it off of your roll, you can cut it, you know, as we go. So it doesn't have to be cut, and it doesn't have to be exactly 16 inches. We're just going to wrap it and tie it in a bow. So Fridays tend to mean something different when you're retired. Yeah, isn't like every day Friday or every day Saturday, or that's what you know, yesterday was Saturday, and today is Saturday, and tomorrow is Saturday, and after that it's Saturday, and yes, I think that's something like how it goes, isn't it? Okay, so here's the one that I missed. Lorna, I don't know whether you saw my comment on the post or not. I forgot to include a piece of cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4. So hopefully you can grab an extra piece of cardstock. And this is the one that we will actually be stamping our sentiment on. I had said originally that if your card base was a dark color, you would need some white or something light to stamp your sentiment on. It's actually this piece of cardstock that we will do the sentiment on. So if your card base is dark, but this piece is light, then you're good to go. If this is a dark piece of cardstock, then you will want something light that you can stamp a sentiment on. Okay, and then we need some stamps and ink. And of course, all the usual suspects, your bone folder, your paper snips, some adhesives, probably a couple kinds, something tape runner, liquid glue-ish, probably some dimensionals, always good to have. And then possibly some embellishments. I always say embellishments. Tonight, part of the embellishment was right in the request for the ribbon. So you don't necessarily need any other embellishments, but you can see as you go. Once you get your card done, if you decide that you would like some extra embellishments, certainly you can add them. So, okay, and get all these sticky guys out of the way so they don't end up in the card. So when I do Connie's craft along, I am actually going to craft with you. So if you want to see how I'm putting the card together, that's what's going to be up on the screen. If you don't want to see how I put the card together and you want to just completely, interpret it yourself, then don't look at the screen, at least not too often. And if you see what I'm doing, but you have a different idea and want to do it differently, absolutely go ahead. This is crafting. There are no rules. There's no right or wrong, and every card can be different, and they will all be lovely in the end. But this is a very easy card to put together, which is why I said you may want to cut for more than one. I have cut for 3 anyway. But here's the first one, is the ingredients from the photo of the ingredients. Ingredients from the ingredients, yes, all that, those ingredients things. So this designer series paper is from the Heart and Home designer series paper pack, and that is part of the Blessings of Home suite, I believe is the name of it. It's the one that we will be featuring in our online retreat in February. So be using lots of this stuff in the future, which is good because I love it. Anyway, we have these cute little bumblebees that I'm using tonight. So the first thing we are going to do is just attach this designer series paper to the piece of cardstock that is a little bit larger, standard border. Okay. That will just go right onto, so it's they're both the same length, so you won't have border all the way around. You will just have border either top and bottom if you're doing landscape, or left and right side if you're doing portrait. I'm doing my card landscape. This pattern generally is a landscape pattern, but you can certainly do it portrait if you prefer. You might just need to modify how you do your sentiment. Then we're going to take our ribbon and we are just going to wrap it around the cardstock and tie it in a bow. And I am using the gray granite shimmer ribbon, which is not actually the exact color in the paper, but it coordinated just fine. I was looking at the ribbon that I had, looking at the paper that I had, and I had a few pieces of paper and I didn't have the exact color ribbon, but if they're sheer, you can often use a different color, a slightly different color, and it coordinates nicely. Or in this case, where there's just a little bit of the gray, it's not the primary color in the paper, this shade of gray ribbon works as well. So there we go. A little longer than I need, but that's okay. We can just trim the ends off of this. Might still be a little longer than I need, but if your ribbon is a little loose, you can put a glue dot under there. It's a little wobbly, not a whole lot, but maybe I will just stick a glue dot under there to hold it in place. Just get the glue dot here. Sometimes I put a glue dot down when I am tying my bow to hold it in place. That works as well, but we're just gonna stick that right under there right now, and then it's secured there. So kind of stuck down. Okay. The next thing we are going to do is we're going to bring in our 5 1/4 by 4 inch cardstock, and the piece that we just made will go onto this. So I'm just going to set it on here for now. I'm not going to glue it down yet. And that's because I'm going to stamp my sentiment next on this piece of paper. And if I mess up my sentiment, I want to be able to flip it over, because guess what, Lorna? Look, look, look. Side 1, side 2. I got double-sided cardstock going on again. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm just going to kind of set this on here just to kind of get an idea where I will place it, so that I can stamp my sentiment down in the bottom and have it roughly where I want it. So I have, tonight I have the Happy Birthday sentiment from the Special Moments stamp set, which is a celebration stamp set. And if you host a get-together with some friends and all of your orders add up to $375 or more, you will get this stamp set for free. So that's what that is. And I am going to bring in my cinnamon cider cardstock. This cardstock is pale papaya, which is one of the colors in there. Color of the bumblebee. So I'm just going to ink this up, and then I'm going to place it right about there. And hopefully it's straight, but if it's not, I have a second side because I didn't actually glue that down yet. You always hated ribbon because you could never get it to stick or tie the bow. Yes. Oh, you're falling back in love with ribbon. That's awesome, Lorna. You know what? We need those we need those little tips and tricks, don't we? Just to make life easier. But yes, if you bows can be hard, but if you put that glue dot down as you're tying it with your first knot, maybe I'll show you on the second one just as a reminder, or for anybody else that maybe hasn't seen that little trick. It does make tying a bow a lot easier. And ribbon can be beautiful on cards, especially, you know, there's shiny ribbons and this one has a little shimmer to it. So yes, yes, double-sided cardstock. Do you have any of that, Lorna? Have you got yourself some double-sided cardstock now too? Hopefully you have. So there is my happy birthday, and I think that is nice and straight, or straight enough. So bring in my card base, and this is cinnamon cider. And I'm just going to fold this in half. Cinnamon cider is one of the in colors from 2020 to 2022, which means it's going away soon. You do have double-sided cardstock. Excellent, excellent. Sometimes we need it. Yes. Okay. So there is my card base, and I am going to attach this layer to it. Not really a lot of mystery stuff going on with this card. It's pretty straightforward, but that's okay. It's an easy layout, a fun layout, and it's great if you need to make, you know, a bunch of cards. You can use different papers and different colors and different ribbons, or you could use some sort of embellishment other than ribbon. And each card would look different, but you could put them all together quite quickly. So it's great. Lorna, I think you make cards for your church. And this kind of a layout can be great for that as well. And then this is just going to go back onto our card. Now, this can go on flat, or it could go on with dimensionals. It's your choice. Maybe I'll put this one on with some dimensionals. Here's another little tip. When you're putting dimensionals on the back here, you can do it a little bit on the cardstock and a little bit on the ribbon, and then it'll just hold it in place on the back as well. And it'll help poof it up and stick it down all at the same time. Not really paying attention to what I'm doing with all these dimensionals here. I'm just putting them kind of everywhere. This big long strip goes all the way across the card, so I need lots, right? Yeah, I probably didn't need quite this many, but that's how many it got, so it will work. Better to have a few more than you need than a few less. If on a big piece like this, if you don't have your dimensionals sort of spread around, your card can actually look like it's sagging in the middle, because it is sagging in the middle, because just putting the dimensionals on the corners won't actually support the whole piece. So you do need some through the middle section. This is a lot though, lot of little backs to take off. Okay, and then I am just going to come up and hover over this so that hopefully I get it straight. Where do I want it? Maybe about there. Oopsie, that's not quite straight. There we go. I think it's straight. So I think it's pretty straight. And there you have it. Quick and easy. So that's the card. And as I say, you could add some other embellishments on here if you wanted, depending on the size of your sentiment. If you had this down a little lower, is this looking like it's maybe a little higher on this end? I think I'm just going to pull this up and lean it down a smidge. It's kind of like a beanie bit. Yes, easy and quick. But look, isn't that a nice card? Maybe I went too much. Oh, it's going to be one of those nights. I have crooked eyes tonight. I can't see straight. It's always hard when you're sort of not right over top of it as well. That's my story. I'm going to stick with that. Okay, it's good enough. I kind of think it's a little off the other way again. So I'm giving up. I'm just going to leave it. It is a handmade card. It should not be perfect. There you have it. So that's card number one. And then I have two more very similar ingredients for the next two that I'm going to work on. And maybe I will do this one first. This one, I had a strip of this tulip paper, which is from the Tulip Garden, I think is it called Tulip Garden? Something like that. Anyway, this is the Flowering Fields designer series paper, and this is all tulips and things. And I don't know, I did not have this when I did the catalog kickoff. So let me just give you a quick little tour, or maybe I did. I don't remember now. I think I kind of remember showing this whole tulip field. It's beautiful. And some pretty marbled colors on the back. Here's another one that I really like. If you like purple, this is so pretty. Pretty tulip paper. And then we have some tulips in the oranges. I find there's a number of people I'm meeting that don't particularly care for orange, but these in nature, in flowers, that's pretty. And oh, I didn't show you the backs, did I? The backs are, again, you know, more subtle patterns or monochromatic or something. This is just sort of modeled look. And then we have single color with ombre shading. That one. What else we got here? Where are all the rest of the pieces? Oh, here's a couple different pieces. So there's just some green and some clouds. What's on the front of this one? I don't think we looked at this one. Oh, we did. That was that one. Why can I not find all the rest of the pieces of paper? I haven't used the whole thing. Where's, oh, here's the one that I'm using here. There we go. So that's the piece that I'm using right now. And this is Poppy Parade, Flirty Flamingo, and then white. And what's that green? That's a very generic green, almost like a garden green, but I'm not sure that it is. What does it say on here? So soft succulent and evening evergreen. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily have picked those two greens, but it always seems like when they tell you that and then you hold those colors up that yes, they do in fact match. Their eyes are better than mine at picking out colors. But anyway, this is the piece that we are using. It is pretty paper, isn't it, Lorna? Yes. I love flowers. You know, some people say, oh, so many flowers, too many flowers. All they have is flowers. It's like, yeah, but they're beautiful. They're so pretty. And this time we have the daffodils and the tulips, and I can't decide which one I like better. So I have the tulips now. I have not bought the daffodils, but that might be a yet because the catalog only started in January and it goes all the way till June. So, you know, I may need, did you hear that? I might need the daffodils before June. We will see. But certainly some pretty flowers in there. So again, I have my strip of designer series paper and my strip of cardstock that are the same length. And this cardstock is Flirty Flamingo, which is not the color. This is Petal Pink. There's just a tiny bit of Flirty Flamingo in there. I'm not sure. Oh, but I don't really want Petal Pink with Pool Party. That'll look a little bit too much like baby girl, baby boy kind of stuff. I think I'm going to go with it. There, it's stuck now. Decision made. I don't know. What do we think? Can you tell? Can you see the colors? It all kind of coordinates. This is sort of Flirty Flamingo here, but really it's Petal Pink. Now that I'm looking at it, like, maybe I should have done it with white. That might have looked nice on Pool Party, but it's good. Okay, we're going with it. Thanks, Lorna. If somebody says, your colors on your card are all wrong, I'm going to say, well, Lorna told me it looked good, so that's all that matters. And so this time, because I don't have that extra layer, I made this 5.5 inches wide. Hi, Donna. Thanks for joining us. We have a really easy layout tonight. I'm a little bit off the grid here because I'm missing one layer of cardstock that we did have on this card. So this 5.25 by 4 piece that I forgot to put in my picture, so it went in my comments. But I was doing one without it just to, you know, because there's no right or wrong. And because when I was cutting this paper, the strip that I had cut, I cut off my 5 1/4 for one, and then I noticed that what was left was not much different, and it was 5 1/2. And I thought, okay, so let's just use the whole thing. Let's not take 1/2 inch off of here, because that would just go in the trash. So I am going to bring in this for my photopolymer stamp. And because I don't have that extra layer, this is a little bit wider at the bottom. So I wanted a little bit bigger sentiment. So I'm using the Hello Friend. And this is from the Friendly Hello stamp set, which is one of the Celebration stamp sets that we used quite a bit one night during the kickoff. So that's what I am using, and I am going to bring in my Poppy Parade ink and ink this up. That looks very red. And then I'm going to put everything straight so that I have a hope of getting my sentiment on here correctly. I'm going to put it fairly close to the bottom because it is quite large. Give a push down there. That'll get into the cardstock. When you are stamping on colored cardstock, it's a good idea just to give a little longer hold. It doesn't absorb the ink quite the same way that the basic white does. So sometimes it just takes a little bit longer for the cardstock to, well, I guess really sort of soak up the ink. So, but it does. You just have to be a little bit patient with it. It's a little bit of a clean. And if you're new to photopolymer stamps, you may be able to see, it's a little hard on the camera, isn't it? But this stamp now has a pink hue to it. Red inks, pink inks, purple inks, I think they do stain your photopolymer stamps, but it's clean. That won't transfer. The stamp will still stamp fine. It's not a problem. It just does change the color a little bit. Okay, so the moment of truth, pick this up. It looks good. Okay, so we can use that card base. So I will give it a fold. Didn't get that folded very well, did I? There we go, that's better. So now I have my cardstock and designer series paper, and I am bringing in the Pool Party sheer ribbon. This is 3/8 of an inch wide, and this is in the annual catalog. And I am going to just wrap this around. I still have this on the roll, but that's okay. I will cut it when we're finished. I'm just going to pull a bit off of there so I can work with it. It's very sheer, and it is definitely Pool Party, but it's very light in color because it is so sheer. So there's my my knot starting there, and I am just going to take a glue dot at this point. I'll show you how. I'm going to grab this here, let go of my knot for a moment. Maybe I should use the palette end of this. Might work better for getting a glue dot off. Okay. Yes, no? No, it kind of smushed it into a big ball. Go back to the pokey end. Go. Okay, try this one more time. There we go. Okay, so now I am just going to see where my knot is going to end up. And before that, I'm just going to put my glue dot down onto the paper here. And then when I tie this knot, I'm going to give it a push onto that glue dot. And now you can see it's just sitting there. It's staying put. Stay put. I really hope I made this long enough. It doesn't look very long for tying a bow, does it? We'll see how we do here. I may need to lift that whole thing and start fresh. Okay, tying a bow on camera. Yes. Yes, Lorna and I were talking about this this idea earlier, Donna, and she said she used to like ribbon, but she hated using it on cards because she could never get the bows nice and things. So a few little bow tying tricks that we've found over the years. I really should have had more ribbon on the other end, shouldn't I? There we go. I got it. Okay, so let's see here. Now, hopefully I can just play with it a little bit and get it all sort of coming out the right sides and edges. Whoops. There we go. I think that'll work. Okay, we'll give this a snip. Okay, and then now I don't need to put another glue dot under there because that is all solid and down in place. Now the next question will be, do we put this one on flat or do we pop this one up as well? I'm thinking we pop this one up as well. I kind of like the way that one turned out. So we will put some dimensionals on the back of this as well. I don't know, these dimensionals are fighting with me tonight. Nobody wants to be sticky. Nobody wants to be, oh, for sure, pop. Okay, yes. Dimensionals make a really big difference in your card, don't they? They just add that extra texture and layer, making things look a little bit, well, really even kind of more elegant, I think. So, what do you think here? Again, I'm going crazy with the dimensionals. Okay, I put lots on now. You have to wait while I pull all these little backs off. So it's a good night to be inside and crafting because they have supposed to be really cold again overnight, although the weatherman said finally a night without any weather warnings in the area. So I guess maybe not quite as cold as we have seen, but still a pretty frosty night. Good night to be inside. And really, what night is not a good night for crafting? Eh? There we go. Okay, so there's another one. I'm kind of thinking I might put just a little bit of bling, shine, maybe some, oh, gems. Ah! Hey, I made a whole card with no gems, okay? So now I need to grab some gems because, just because. So let's see here. Bling, yes, bling. Okay. What about some of these iridescent rhinestones? Are they, not sure, this is very red. They might be a little bit pinky purple. They don't actually, they're a little too clear, I think, is what they are. They don't show really well on there. So maybe not those, but oh, we can put butterflies. You brushed brass butterfly. That would be kind of cute with the tulips. These are the big ones, but we have these little ones on this. Oh, here's a big one and a little one. Or maybe some clear rhinestones, because they just go on anything. Or some pearls. Pearls could work too. Haven't used pearls for a, look, there's just too many choices now. Where are my pearls? Don't have a whole lot of pearls in here. Just little itty bitty ones. Those are really tiny. So they might be a little smaller than I like. Not those, but we do have these silver pearls. No. Okay, so what do you think? Butterflies? You like the butterflies on it? Yeah, I'm thinking butterflies, eh? Okay, we're gonna go with butterflies. That's what we're gonna do for this guy. So this, and then I can use these two butterflies on this little bitty piece. I think I probably cut some to put into card kits, and that this was either left over or or oopsies, someone didn't get all the butterflies they were supposed to. No, I think it was left over. Don't anybody panic. Okay, and we need one more of these little guys, maybe right there. Sure, really. This guy needs to be turned a little bit. There we go. I like them. They're quite cute. I think we need him outside. Okay, that'll work. There we go. So there's another card, same layout, but quick and easy. And then you have, it's a great way. I was thinking, you know, we spend so much time through the fall making Christmas cards, and then we get to January and you start to kind of get back on track. It's like, oh my gosh, I need birthday cards. All my friends have birthdays and I don't have any birthday cards ready. And so this is a great layout to get some birthday cards ready to go. It's could also be a great, I was thinking I would maybe do this one with this sentiment, with sympathy. Not one we like to make, but one that's necessary, and certainly nice if we ever need to send sympathy cards. It's nice to have them ready. This one is back the same as the first one that we did, with the smaller or shorter 5 1/4 piece of designer series paper, and then the back layer. So I'll just put this guy together. I'll put it together, and while I'm working on this, if anybody has anything else that they would like to see, or any questions, or anything else for tonight, or if you have any ideas of things that you would like to see at some of our upcoming craft alongs, or that's fancy's on Monday night. And you know, in typical fashion, I have not yet decided what we're going to do. So I don't know whether you would like to see a technique, or what? How's that? Yes. Haven't thought about it, but if there is something that you would like to see, now's your chance to have your say, and I will take it under advisement, because I don't know what you're going to say. I can't promise it. Can't promise it till I know what you're gonna have me up to, but certainly do my best. So, okay, I'll just get this sympathy stamp on here, and I think I will use the Poppy Parade ink again. I really like that on the red on Pool Party is a great combination. I made a lot of Christmas cards one year with I think it was back when we had penguins or something, and we did them with Pool Party and Real Red ink. It's great color scheme for Christmas, but this doesn't look like Christmas because it's got tulips. So that is it's a lovely font. So I like that. And this is a nice juicy ink pad, so it stamps really nicely. Okay, get this guy cleaned up a little bit. What else can I tell you about what's going on? Celebration, obviously. And card class coming up next Wednesday. The monthly card class. I think the next maybe the next card class that I do might use the Ladybug. I'm kind of falling in love with the Ladybug punch and stamp set in the new catalog. Seen some really cute projects with it. So, but that too is yet to be decided. Last night I mentioned that the cardstock was not white, but very vanilla was the background color in the what did we use last night? We used the Daffodil Afternoon paper, and so just give me half a sec. I cannot tie a bow and talk at the same time. That's just way too technical. Okay. Oh, I don't make this end very long, do I? I like to set myself up for a challenge. I'm just going to grab that paper, Lorna. Okay, and here we go. So here is my pack of Heart and Home paper, and you will notice the background in here is white and the background here is white. The background in the whole pack, they would usually only have one background color per package. They wouldn't tend to make them different. You can see it here. So this is white, and most of the designer series paper is white, but this one, the Daffodil Afternoon, is it's actually very vanilla. Yeah, it doesn't look all that yellow there, does it? But it probably, when I look at this in real life, it looks more yellow than it does on my screen. But it is in fact just very vanilla. I'll grab a piece of cardstock. We'll grab the catalog. And oh, this is Celebration, isn't it? This was Celebration paper. So in here, yes, so here it is here. So yes, this is the very vanilla and the back of this one. So you can see here, hopefully, that it is the same color, and the background of this other one, if I can find it, of course. Here we go. The background, well, the background of this one is also very vanilla, but the back has a lot of it, but hopefully you can. So it is just very vanilla. It's not, you know, it's vanilla, it's off-white, but it's not yellow looking, Lorna. So it's creamy vanilla looking. That's what it is. Don't. There. Have I distracted you enough to get out of tying that bow with that piece of ribbon that's probably too short? Okay, let's see. Always up for a challenge, eh? There we go. One. Becomes a problem when trying to squish my fingers through the loops when there's not a lot of ribbon. There we go. Isn't too difficult. I just have it a little funky. I think I pulled my ends the wrong way. Maybe I can fix it. Yes, this is definitely twisted. Kind of straightening it out. This is also twisted. There we go. That's maybe a little bit better. Let's see if we can get this out of it. I think this bow it's going to go off the edges. But the beauty of doing your bow this way is it can kind of go almost wherever it wants, because you have lots of real estate available for the ribbon to rest on. So, okay. And you know what? Just to be different, I'm just going to put this on here flat. I may regret that, but we're going to give it a go. This in. There we go. Now we could still pop it up onto the card base, couldn't we? I'm just using a basic white thick piece of cardstock for this card base, just to pick up the white from the tulip there. I thought that was such a beautiful bright white. So we could put this right down flat, or I could pop this whole thing up here. Kind of hard to hold and look. Maybe we'll pop the whole thing up just to be different. So again, we will need to hit up the corners and put some into the middle areas, just so that it doesn't sag in the middle. Try to stick it to the cardstock, not to my fingers. There we go. Little bits off. Okay, and now let's see if we can get this centered on here. There we go. There, so now there's just a little bit of, let me see, a little bit of poof. Whoop. There, kind of, sort of there. Anyway, trust me, it's popped up. So there we go. So there's 3 cards, quick, easy, kind of a fun layout. Great way to show off some designer series paper, making designer series paper the star of the show. Hey, let me switch this back up here. There we go. And I am back. So that's what I had for Connie's Craft Along tonight. I will put this video up on my Facebook page, and if you have crafted along, oh, thanks for the love. If you crafted along with us and you'd like to post a picture of one of your cards, I love to see what you guys make. When we do mystery stamping, for me, the absolute best part is at the end when everyone shows their cards and we get to see all the different cards that people made and all the different papers they used and the colors they chose and everything. And like last night, a lot of the cards were a little bit different because there was so many pieces that I just said, stick them down. And so everybody did it a little bit different, but we had some lovely cards last night. So I would love to see what you made tonight if you crafted along, or if you are watching this on replay and you have crafted along or made it after you watched it. Share a picture of your card in the comments, and then we can all be inspired by each other. So last chance for any ideas for next week's That's Fancy. Anything you want to see? We want to see a technique, maybe. I don't know what technique. Maybe you can find one that's not too hard, one that you could do at home. The problem with techniques sometimes is that it's hard if you need a lot of weird and wonderful supplies, if it's not something that you might have at home. But anyway, we'll see. I'll see what I can come up with, and hopefully you can join me Monday evening for That's Fancy. We'll play with something. We'll just play. We'll play and we'll craft, and that's all good. All right. Oh, Elizabeth, you're here. I have to put my glasses back on so I can read your comment. Look at you, girl. Elizabeth is trying to watch, but the sound went off and the visuals kept stopping. No matter where I clicked, it would not flow like a video. Card was great. Simple idea can be so versatile. Thanks. Okay. Oh, Elizabeth, I'm so sorry that your video hasn't run smoothly, but I'm so glad that you got on. We're making progress. It's a step in the right direction, and hopefully we can. I don't know how I can figure it out, but you never know. Maybe another night will be better. Does anybody else find it choppy? Because it could be my computer, because my computer is very sad. But anyway, hopefully not. Hopefully everybody else is okay. So anyway, thank you so much for stopping by, and we will see you all again soon. Happy crafting and have an awesome weekend, everyone. Bye for now.